Welcome back, you guys. Episode 75 of Zero Carb Journal. Morning, y'all. If you're new here, I'm Matt. Nice to see you guys. How you doing? How was your week? Was it great? Did you stay the course and make some progress? I bet you did great. So maybe you can hear it in my voice. I am, what am I? It's sort of a zero carb hangover, I guess. I'm tired. I went to a party last night, you guys. Pretty exciting for me. Big deal to get out of the house in the afternoon even, let alone the evening. So my good friends right up the road on my little country lane here um, had a 40th birthday for my friend, and her husband is my one of the people who I've steered onto the zero carb way of eating, who's been having such profound results. So it was really great. It was a gathering of the tribe. These are people I've known since we were very, very young and have been in my life forever. And all of the associated circle of folks were there. So it was pretty awesome. I'm kind of proud of myself. I pried myself out of my little shack here last night at about, almost 8 o'clock. And I stayed up there till about 1:30 in the morning or so before I got home or left there, and just catching up with old friends. And it was great. It was really good for me. Now, they had a big spread, and they do eat very much like I do, but I didn't eat anything. I went fed just so I wouldn't be tempted to put something in my mouth and maybe have not such a good time. So yeah, so you can hear it in my voice. It's about, it's just coming up on 8 o'clock now, and I didn't get much sleep, and I was up, I've been going to bed at like 8:30, so that was a significant change from what I normally do. So yeah, but I thought I'd get up. I woke up, and it's a beautiful day. You guys can't see the mountain over there. I try and set up this shot so I could show you the mountain and me, but it's too dark here and too bright there, I guess. But anyways, it's just a beautiful morning. So I just got up and thought I'd get started and do the journal and get going on my day. So how are you guys? Did you have a good week? I did. I really did have a great week. Let's talk about zero carb. That's what we're here for. But let's talk about what I was eating and whatnot. I guess it's been a month or so since I took that week off from ground beef just to see how that was. And I gotta say, I do think that from eating that high volume of ground beef day in and day out over the last years, I do think that there's times when that's kind of hard on my system, because I do notice that when I just eat the steaks, things get even calmer in my stomach, and I tend to do even better. Now, the downside is I don't really care for the steaks that much, and I actually have a hard time eating enough, so it's like I can do the steaks and fish and stuff for a couple days, and then it seems like I just start craving eating a big pile of ground beef. So that's what I did this week. I sort of alternated off and back and forth. I ate quite a bit of ribeye, mostly as steak-in. I did eat some steaks, and I enjoyed them, and I felt pretty good from eating them. And ground beef just a few days a week, and I've had a good week, guys. I've been feeling really good. My energy's been great, just like it was last week. I got back to work this week, and I put in, a pretty solid half week on the boats. And one thing I would like to revisit, I talked about taking some vitamin C a few weeks ago, and it didn't seem to make a noticeable change. And now that I'm back to the boats, and I've been back and forth away from the boats and back to the boats and away from the boats for a week and back to the boats, it's for sure. It's just from kneeling. My knees get real sore and real stiff these days, and after a while I have a hard time getting back up. So nice to verify that that wasn't, at least I don't think that was any kind of vitamin deficiency. The way I verified that is just it didn't seem to change it when I took vitamin C for a few days in a row. And then it did get better over the last couple weeks that I wasn't working much. And then this week went back in, felt fine, knees were limber and loose that morning, and I spent 2 days on my knees, and then by the end of this week, yesterday, I just felt like I could barely walk upstairs. So I think I'm just taking a toll on myself by kneeling on that metal all day. I'm gonna have to get some better kneeling protection. I notice all the guys older than me who do the kind of things that I do really guard their knees, and they don't kneel on the hard surfaces for long periods of time. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, but I just want to touch on that because I talked about wondering if that was dietary, influenced by my diet. It doesn't seem like it. So I have been, you guys. I've been doing really well. I've been narrowing down, like I said, what works best for me. It seems like the mix of the salmon and the beef, as I've known for a while, are really solid. And it seems like eating those high volumes of at least the real low cost ground beef that has a lot of connective tissue seems to be what brings on, any issues I still have. But I like the ground beef the best. I really do. I like it better than steak. I mean, I like the first few bites of steak are heaven, but if I need to eat quite a bit, I just really enjoy the ground beef. So I'm finding a way to balance that, and it's pretty cool. So there's that. Yeah, had a great week. No surfing, no surf this week. There wasn't any. A lot of work, and that's about it. I told you guys I went to see my mom last week and went and saw my family for Mother's Day. That was great. Let's see what else. Not much this week. Pretty low key. I had some stuff on my list to tackle, and of course I got called back into work, so I'm just kind of back into that holding pattern. Now I'm getting started. That was actually another boat that I did this last week, and now we're getting back to the big boat that I've been waiting on Monday, tomorrow. So hopefully I'll spend 2 or 3 more weeks doing this, and I'd really like to wrap it up and maybe go on vacation or do something else. So we'll see how that goes. What else? I did have some stuff to talk about with you guys regarding overall zero carb. One of the comments that I got a week ago, or maybe it's been 2 now, again, I apologize, I haven't been getting back there, but was regarding my goals and how I run my program with my goals. And I do want to do a whole video on that, but for now I'll just revisit it really quickly because I think it's been an important part of my whole progression, and my zero carb journey wouldn't be what it was if I hadn't made the change to start living my life on sort of a goal-oriented, using a goal-oriented process. And I'm not a real hard taskmaster. I don't really drive myself too hard, especially not anymore now that I've realized that the consistency is really what makes it work. But I'll just give you a brief overview if you haven't heard. I structure my life around 90-day periods of goals. And that's something I learned about 4 years ago, just poking around online, and I found a group that was doing 90-day goals, and I got involved, just jumped into a round where everyone shares their goals, and I learned a lot, and they were very helpful. And one of the things that they taught me was, in order to start, was to just set very realistic goals. I mean, goals that just looked like a daily to-do list, and to give myself some easy ones, some gimmies. And so when I started doing this thing, I would set a date round, a date range of 90 days. And then I wrote down things that were things I wanted to create as habits, things that I had sort of felt like I hadn't done as good a job in my life earlier of making good habits, and I wanted to build good habits. So I started with real simple things like cleaning the house 15 minutes a day, which honestly was enormous for me because I was the kind of person who really liked to tackle big projects and do big things, and the little things would get away from me until they became big things, and then I didn't want to do them. And I'm sure you can relate to that, especially cleaning a house, living on your own, and some rooms get away from you, other rooms get clean, and eventually you kind of never want to go back to those other ones and tackle them. And so that cleaning 15 minutes a day was a wonderful way to start my goal forming habit, and it was a wonderful habit to get, because I quickly realized that all I had to do was just do a little bit a day consistently, and I could keep my house the way I wanted to, or keep my living situation the way I wanted to, without feeling overburdened or tasked with giant chores. Really changed the way I approach really everything but my day-to-day life. And so I did that for the first round, and I did a lot of things like that. I did stuff, brush my teeth every day. I mean, things that I just felt like would be good habits that I hadn't done a good job in my younger days of forming as good habits. So I gave myself easy ones. And let's see if I can remember what all those first ones were. Clean 15 minutes a day, brush my teeth every day. um, well, I'm not coming up with them. Mostly they were exercise related because I was just getting started with that, and very much self, related to my image of myself, telling myself to stay positive and talk nice to myself, things like that. That was one of my worst habits, was talking down to myself. I would use, you know, different voices from my life to talk to myself, and usually they were negative. So that was one of my biggest goals and biggest habits that I wanted to change. So that's kind of the gist of my goal making. I do those 90-day rounds. They're very achievable time frames, which if you can do it in 3 months, it seems pretty doable. And as time has gone on, I just do one of those every 90 days. I make one up, and they take a break for about a week between each round. And that's an important part of that process. It feels really good to just kind of let things lie and know that I'm going to come back to making progress and have those breaks. But I do those every 90 days, and it's been really interesting to see how my goals progress. I went from those simple goals to being much broader and having much broader impact on my life. I've started to incorporate financial goals and just really where I want to be in 90 days and in a year and 2 years. And so by making my goals small, sort of chewable chunks that don't take up much time and sort of have realistic outcomes, I found that each one is just a stepping stone. And as I'm going through this process now, I am starting to envision longer term goals, but I don't really write them down for the most part. I just sort of build my 90-day goals as stepping stones towards those larger goals. And it's been so profound for me, you guys. I sit down every Sunday and I write up goals for the week. Now, when I first started, I would do it daily. I would sit down every morning, and it really was just a to-do list. And I had a to-do list that incorporated my 90-day goals: clean the house for 15 minutes a day, brush your teeth every day, things like that. I would have that on the sheet, on my daily sheets, and I would go through my days, and it was really great because I was really, like I said, trying to change my habits. And I would just, in those days, it was hard for me, but I just told myself, just go through your checklist. You have one responsibility, Matt, and that's to yourself, to make things as good as you possibly can, enjoy this life as much as you can, and move forward as much as you can. You've set a path for yourself to do that, and it's just this checklist. So don't beat yourself up. That's all you have to do each day. And it was really profound. I would just dive into my days, get up and do my workouts, and in those days track my food, and just stay very focused. But it made my life very easy. I felt like just going, okay, there's my 15 minutes of cleaning, and there I did my yoga, and there I did my workout. And I'd get to the end of the day and I'd look down that list and I'd just be like, you did so good today. Good job tackling all your tasks, and we're moving forward. And it really felt that way. And that was coming from a place where I just felt stagnant for a decade and like I was going nowhere. So to have that daily progress report, and to know that although I was sitting down and resting at the end of the day, and the day was done, to know that I had made progress and had done the things that were moving me forward, it just has made a huge difference in my life. So I might come back and do a whole separate video on that. I'd like to show you my sheets now. I document it all. But that's the gist of it, you guys. And I continue to do that to this day. I do get a little more slack. I've noticed that I'm not as disciplined as I was 3 years ago, but I really needed to be. And I'm trying to find some balance as well, not be quite so focused, and to allow myself to enjoy spontaneous things that come into my life a little better. And so traveling, things like that, being away from a routine. So that was been very profound for me, and perhaps that'll help some of you guys form some habits or figure out a way to make progress, to move forward. So I think that's enough for today, you guys. I'm pretty scattered. Not probably going to go back to bed right away, but I'm probably going to take a nap at some point today, and I'm just going to chill and get ready for the week. I think I'm going to have a big week back to work. Going to make my knees sore, but fill up my bank account a little more and give myself some options for later on. So So yeah, so that's enough for now, you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope you make some progress and stay the course. And as always, I really can't thank you enough for listening and watching, and all your support continues to make a huge difference in my life. And I really appreciate it, each and every one of you. So, hope you guys are doing great. Like and subscribe, I'm supposed to say. I've noticed I don't do that. All the other YouTubers do. I guess I do it a little different, don't I? And that's fine. So, yeah. Anyways, you guys have a great week, and I will see you next week. All right. Thanks a lot. See ya.